Welcome to SnipeSearch AdClicks for advertisers. In this lesson we're going to be covering a couple of things, and they are customer intent and making offers. Now, as you know from the first session, a great thing that we've got to do is try and get Jessy turning some cash in a very limited window of time. Accessibility is a huge issue here, and as I've said before, although the course entirely hinges on SnipeSearch as your primary paid advertising network, I said we would be using other networks and other avenues to generate you genuine leads and revenue. Because if we don't, we're not really looking at you from the perspective as an advertiser. We're looking at you from the perspective as someone who gives us money. It's not what we want to do. We want to help you succeed. Now, Jessy has two websites. He has Life Jugglers, which was his original project, which he has his card game for, and he has some life coaching to go with. And he has Purple Burger, which is what these videos are fundamentally being made for, where he does business coaching and marketing, and I assist him with the marketing side of things. Neither one of those two has particularly aggressive levels of traffic at this time. SnipeSearch as itself is not necessarily viable for a high-speed kickoff when you've only got a couple of weeks to work with. Now, while it is a great complementary feature, and for the long-term goals of any business, we are a perfect route to take. You can use us to supplement your Google traffic or any other traffic, or use us solely if you want to be using a privacy-compliant network. Or ultimately, you can slowly phase your way over to us once you're confident you know you can get what you need from us. Now, as this course ages, I'm already seeing SnipeSearch traffic is actually up 25% since I published lesson 1. So by the time we get to the final lesson, I could find myself saying, don't worry about any other network, you can just use us. And all of my warnings that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket would have been pointless. But all jokes aside, even if we were turning as much traffic as Google, I will continue to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I tell people not to solely use Google because they're the biggest thing out there, but if they get pulled, you've lost it. Same with Bing, same with anything. Multiple baskets. Now, the easiest way to get an offer out there is typically to use a service that already has an immense amount of traffic. Now, Jessy's primary goal for a quick turnaround is going to be to try and get people to coach, either for business or for general life goals. Essentially what he did when he changed career paths to come to the Czech Republic, build a house with his wife, and start becoming an independent operator. Since Jessy came here, he's taken on a couple of clients. They've both served their 12-lesson course. They've got to the end. They've quite happily moved on to the next stage of their life. Proof of concept, he knows what he's doing. But the problem is that meeting people individually, negotiating, getting them to sign a deal, and turning that into regular income means you're spending too much time physically closing the deal. We live in a digital world, and more than anything, Jessy is from Canada. He speaks primarily English. I am to understand some French.
Yeah.
But not necessarily Eastern European. Now, his Czech is significantly better than mine. I imagine his German is also far more brushed than mine is. What we're going to do with Jessy today, being as his primary product is going to be coaching services, aside from when we're doing marketing courses together or helping people with the marketing together, his primary thing is going to be coaching. So he needs to be in a place where he can sell coaching services remotely without too much effort. Now, part of this we're going to be able to do live with you now. Part of it, Jessy will have to finish later. We're going to set Jessy up on two bases today. One of them is going to be Fiverr, where he will be directly selling to customers there. The other one will be Trustpilot, where his independent non-Fiverr users will be able to leave a review about the Life Jugglers site, whether or not it's about the card game, whether or not it's about the training. The whole point being that as we embed his Fiverr history, his Fiverr courses onto the Life Juggler website, and we embed the Trustpilot into the website, then people who come to his site in future are more confident in the ability to close. Because you having a good advertisement doesn't necessarily help you close a customer. Reviews and feedback help you understand your customer's intent. Your customer's intent will help you create better advertisements. So before spending a penny on trying to get that information, especially as you know, we don't really track. You need to find a way to acquire some early level customers. This obviously doesn't scale for every service, but whether or not you do ghostwriting, you do SEO, whether or not you do artwork, you find that places like Fiverr and Freelancer, you can set up a job. Sadly, initially, you market yourself under the current market value, you get some people through the door, you close the business, and you get the reviews. Once you have enough reviews, you start to creep your price. Then eventually on your website, you set your long-term fixed price. Because ultimately, on Fiverr, people won't notice so much as your price creeps, but your clients will. So you don't want your homepage website to be changing all the time, except for when it's an actual offer. But on Fiverr, you can fluctuate that as you move along to get to the right level of closed business. So, under the proviso that Jessy is hopefully already screen recording,
Yeah.
I would like you to go to Fiverr, and we will start very simply with registering.